What's your assessment of the governorship elections, generally and especially in Lagos? Should the election have been validated?
Definitely not. Every sane and responsible citizens in the country, stakeholders outside the country, European Union and all, have spoke against the conduct of the election. If an election is not free and fair and credible, in no way should it have been validated by anybody. And we in the African National Congress have made that stand well known publicly, and also even right at the hall where the collation was done, that this is not the election, is a sham, and we're not going to be signing it. That's why you will not see my signature on any of the document. An election that was carried out with suppression and repression and attack of voters at their polling units, intentionally. Even stealing from them should never have been a validated election, and it's a disgrace on the electoral body and the security agencies.
What was your experience on the field? I mean,
yes,
with regards to voters suppression and disenfranchisement of voters. Well, there were reported cases, including violence.
Yeah.
How did that impact on your candidates?
Definitely, it was. It didn't start on the day of election. It started immediately after the presidential election, where the ruling class had the lesser votes than the other parties. The other party, that the Labour Party, and they felt, oh, this is going to be tough for them for the gubernatorial election, and the bigotry and then the ethnic and tribal politics begin to play out, where they were saying some people they don't hold Lagos, some people cannot contest, this person is Igbo and all that, and the suppression started till the period of election, which on Wednesday a known party stalwart thug of the African the All Progressive Party publicly told people not to come out and vote if they are not voting for APC, and most especially mentioned a particular ethnic group, violently. And what was, surprising and sad was the fact that the Nigerian police, by the national PRO, said that statement was a joke. Nothing was done to him. He was not arrested. He was not called to order. INEC did not release any statement. Security agency did not release any serious statement. And by that Thursday, it has started suppressing voters from coming out already. Secondly, the market at the Papa of some of these our Igbo friends in Lagos was burnt down. So the security man there was attacked, he was killed, and the market was burned down. Instead of the government to address it and bring those that did it to justice, they went about trying to score political points from that action. When I came out on Saturday, people were not coming out to vote. There was threat of violence already. There was repression already. In fact, thugs belonging to the ruling party went from local government to local government, ringing bell, telling people not to come out if they are not going to vote for the ruling party. It is sad and it is irresponsible. And you can see from the results that just 16% of eligible voters came out to vote. 1 million plus in the people that registered, over 7.something million number of people. Why? Because they were scared of their life, they were scared of their safety, and those that still came out, we prevented them from voting. So it's sad, it affected our candidate, it affected every other political party, and it benefited the ruling class.
The Labour Party candidate, El-Rufai, has actually come out to say that he's going to challenge the process. Is AC also going to challenge the process and the outcome of this election?
Well, the Labour candidate has a right to challenge the process legitimately in the court. In fact, the ruling class are even actually pursuing everybody. If you are not happy, go to the court and all that. Well, we will not go through that process because we know that it is an intentional gap just to push people to go for a long process that might never end. Atiku went to court in 2019 over the election, and to date, in fact, 2 weeks to the 2023 election, they were still saying, oh, there's possibility in my win, just to kill a kind of news. So it's their right, but we are not going to go through that way. we are going to go through the revolutionary way because our party is a revolutionary one. When the ruling class make terrible decisions like this, intentionally making people to have a terrible election, intentionally making people to lose hope on the system, they don't always think about the consequences. But there are always consequences. The problem is just that most of the time, the consequences used to fall on the citizens. But we are telling citizens that the only way you can reduce or avoid the consequences coming on you directly is to organize. You have to organize with people that want to take revolutionary steps to secure this country from the hands of the oppressor. So we are not going to waste our money going to court, we are not going to waste our time getting lawyers, but we are going to organize to challenge this process through every step.
How culpable are the security forces or agencies as regards the entire process itself, with regards to the violence that was happened?
The security agencies, they are a disgrace. That's what I will say. And because, yes, INEC has something that they will say, which is correct. INEC cannot protect itself. That is a fact. What INEC can do is to conduct a free and fair election. Where we fought INEC is carrying on with the process which they know have been affected by violence, by attack. Where we fought INEC is in terms of logistics. Where we fought INEC is when they work with thugs and police to rig election. But INEC cannot protect the polling units. It is the security agency. And I can remember vividly that at the various stakeholders meeting that I attended, both the states and in some zones, I told the police, what is the plan? What is the strategic plan in which you want to prevent thugs from attacking polling units? What are you going to do? They never gave me a concrete answer. The highest that the CP said, that's the CP Alabi, the one that left before the new one, was that any thug that is caught, we're not going to allow a politician to beg us, they are not going to be released, we'll keep them. That is not a plan. That is not the way out. So they failed at every polling unit. They failed. You will see cases, there are videos online where thugs will come to polling unit and the police officers is just looking. You will see cases where after a polling unit has been attacked and things are calm, instead of the police officers that have been called to stay and protect the people, they will just want to take INEC officials out of the place so that the election will be cancelled at that location. So they failed. There was no plan. There was no control. There was no control. There was no monitoring by the police. It was a bunch of failure and a full-time failure by the police. And guess what? On Saturday, 18th March, thugs were in charge of Lagos. The government lost control, and they were happy because it was to their benefit.
Now, let's also look at INEC's management of the entire process itself.
Yes.
There's been call for the sack of the INEC chairman, Yakubu, and the indictment of the INEC staffs and officials, especially with regards to the entire process and itself. What's the AAC's position as far as INEC's management of the process is concerned?
Yes, let's back to the presidential election. I can remember vividly that our presidential candidate, in person of El-Rufai, spoke at the INEC State meeting that, Professor Yakubu, if you are not ready for this election, speak up. Let the world know there's no shame in postponing an election. Where are we rushing to? Let the world know there's nothing special about February 25. That you must hold the election February 25. There's nothing special about March 12. The election of the governorship election was postponed to 18. The heaven come down. There's nothing special. Let the world know if you are not prepared in terms of logistics. Let the world know if you are not prepared in terms of the security. Let the world know if the beavers is not going to work. But they did not open up. Only El-Rufai was challenging the process. Other presidential candidates were quiet, and we could see that on February 25, beavers did not work. He said it, Yakubu himself, that there was no going back on uploading results at the polling unit immediately after the vote has been counted on the electoral sheet. No, they didn't do that. In fact, there were cases where polling unit presiding officers were saying they were not going to upload intentionally. It's not that it's not going to work. So it is after you have brought the result to Abuja and you have done your Excel sheet counting, We are not saying they are now going to be uploading. That action already has truncated the process. It has gone against the electoral law itself. And in that, the election should be cancelled. Because if it was a case where after the election was counted at the polling unit, and all polling agents of different parties has said, yes, this election is good to go, and you upload it, all Nigerians will be able to see it in real time. That's what they promised us. But they failed. Also, in terms of logistics, the logistics on the presidential election was a shame. I went to Ojo, I went to Alimosho. These people did not, come until 11. Vote did not start in some places until 2. Vote did not start in places until 4. It's a shame that they were not ready for logistics. At Badagry, at Ikorodu, some of these drivers were saying they were not going to move materials back to INEC office because they have not been paid. So, but we have called for the sack of Yakubu since 2021. We have called for the sack of this man. 2021, there were rumors that he had to pay to continue to retain that position. So come on, we never expected that he's going to do anything important in the election. So sacking him is on point. It is the lowest that can be done to Nigerians to save this process.
Let's also look at the recent allegation by the former Revenue State government, an official of the Buhari, the Minister of about the emergence of Mahmoud Yakubu. Yeah. He had alleged that it was a Tinubu scam that actually nominated Mahmoud as a leader, the INEC chairman, and how we are. So a lot of questions are being raised as of the emergence of Mahmoud as INEC chairman. In fact, there are a lot to unpack as far as INEC's inability to conduct a credible election is concerned. What's your take on this allegation by the?
Yes, the allegation will not be far from wrong because Amechi is part of the government, is a minister in the government, and if you observe closely, he has been silent during the campaign of the APC, And there were rumors that there were some people in the cabals that didn't want Tinubu to emerge, So the allegation is not far from true, but it goes back to the fact and to the failure of the Buharis government. That is the genesis of all these things. We might be pointing at Tinubu, pointing at Yakubu, but the man in charge, as far as now is concerned, is President Muhammadu Buhari, and President Muhammadu Buhari allowed and appointed a failure as an INEC chairman, a man that has been compromised. This is the people that they use INEC lawyers to try to hijack our party. What will they do to the citizens? So the people that suffered during this election is not Labour, it's not APC, it's not PDP, it's not even ANC. It is the Nigerian people that were robbed. It is the Nigerian people that were robbed of a free and fair election, taking them back to another 15 years. People that are saying they want another nation, you are giving them more opportunity. People that are saying they need to scatter this nation, you are giving them more opportunity because they say, look at it, it's not working. What are you telling us? Nigeria cannot be saved. But it's not that Nigeria cannot be saved. It's because the people that are interested in saving Nigeria are not in power. The people that just want to be robbing and stealing and cheating Nigerians are the one there. So Amechi should not start speaking now like he's a savior. What was he doing for the past 6 years? What was he doing for the past 4 years to make sure the government give us a better process? He was hoping the primary and be the one enjoying Yakubu now. But no, he lost. And he was also punctured at Rivers by Wiki. He's now lamenting. And no, they should not be the one lamenting.
Let me ask this final question because the time is almost short. Considering the fact that the state institutions have actually put a stamp on the criminality of these thugs and the entire violence and suppression that was experienced in this last election, and the culpability of these state security forces, there's been widespread condemnation even by international observers, and foreign observers on the conduct of the election and the process. What's the implication of this on the health of democracy in Nigeria?
What we have been practicing for a long time now have never even really been a democracy. Autocracy or criminocracy or momentocracy, whatever you want to put it. But what this process election has done again is to dent the already dented nation. And the implication, the consequences is not even what someone can even be saying. The consequences is dynamic. The consequences is multidimensional. We never can even see it coming. But the consequences is definitely impunity, economic failure, because it's going to cause a lot of confusion. You can see now, instead of us working on building the nation, Tinubu is looking for how he can secure his mandate and make sure nothing happens to it. Some people are in courts. Some people are fighting. The ministers are in disarray. Someone has come out and said it's time to be Senate president while we are still joking about the election that we had. You can imagine the state that we are in 21st century. But what we are going to say to Nigerians is this. Oppression and suppression doesn't last forever. It only continues if the people stop fighting. What Nigeria need to realize is that they destroyed this nation not in one day. It took them 60-something years to do it. We that we want to get it right, we must rise up against the system. And who are this system? INEC. We must stand up against INEC. They are the failures that put us in this mess. The security agencies, we must stand up against them. They are the failures that put us in this mess. IPAC. In fact, the IPAC chairman, the Lagos, Olusegun, who is the chairman of YPP, was part of the people or non-political parties that sold APC to Nigerians, which is against the code of conduct of IPAC. You cannot be an IPAC chairman and be supporting the ruling class. How will there be a free and fair election, which is one of the work of IPAC? IPAC is not just be there to fund 18 political parties in one group. No. He went there to collect money and endorse APC. That's a failure. So Nigerians should begin to hold them responsible. The security agency, Buhari, where we hold all these people responsible, call them to order and organize and have an action plan for the way forward. There's hope for Nigeria. But currently now, the people in power are hopeless. The person trying to enter is hopeless. And they're just going to give us an hopeless situation. But Nigerians are not hopeless people. And they must rise up against this in every way, in any way, organize. It's not just lamentation. And set things right. But currently now, the country is in disarray.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ayo.
Thank you very much.